Hey, everybody. Hello. Greetings to you all. So excited to be here with you today. And guess what? They let me on again by myself. They're going to regret it, but it's okay. I'm handling business, and that means I get a chance to ask all the questions and take up all the good time for our guest who is coming on today. We talking about sex today, y'all. I know, it's a conversation that you're like, wait a minute, what? But this is the Coco community. We are adults. We have to have this conversation. As a matter of fact, we can't even be in the situation that Coco Life represents without having this conversation. So come on in and join us. We are listening to The Salt, The Pepper. Let's talk about it. Come on, y'all. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. Enjoy this great conversation with us today. Drop those hearts. Drop your questions. We have an expert on with us today. So class is in session, everybody. It's sex ed. Anybody remember that from health class? Super excited to be with you all today. We are in a little early. If you did not get a chance to catch last week's episode with Nicole Terry Ellis, please make sure you go watch the playback on YouTube, cocolife.black, D-O-T, black. Come on in, everybody. We talking about sex today. Go let everybody know. So listen, here's how this story goes, right? Boy meets girl. Boy and man meets woman. Let me say it that way, okay? Man meets woman. Man and woman fall in love. And I'm just using this hypothetically, so nobody try to hold me to any gender roles and things like that. I'm just saying what I'm saying, okay? Here at cocolife.black, we're just sharing what tends to be the most common method that we see as it relates to getting into that family sort of way. So I'm just using this as an example. So boy meets girl. Man meets woman, they fall in love, they get married, and they decide that they're going to expand their family. Or sometimes it just kind of happens that way, that their family expands. Nevertheless, one thing I found personally in these scenarios is that as a community, we do not talk very fluidly, very comfortably about many things. And sex is one of them. Right now, some of you are like, what? What is going on? What are they talking about on cocolife.black? But if you recall, cocolife.black is an online retail and resource site geared to support moms in 3 key maternal stages. And so what we know about, again, usually the traditional way, not talking about any interventions or anything like that, as to how you get pregnant. But there's so many other aspects of that. So we thought, how do we host this conversation and make sure that it's not just us kind of sharing our own feedback? What better way to do that than to call in an expert? So today, everybody, again, class is in session. Please say hello to our guest for today, Coco Queen, Sex Dr. Heather.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. First off, you look beautiful.
So do you. I'm looking. I don't get to see you no more.
I know. I miss you. And can I just say, I was team #jelly. I was supposed to be in that. I ended up having to go away for Aunt Patty's street naming. I was out of town before I knew she was having it. And I saw the picture and I told Musa, I was like, I'm supposed to be in that picture. I was
wondering. Well, I get to see you now.
Yep, I'm so excited. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm loving the hair.
Thank you for having me.
The background, be kind. I'm loving the #orgasm.
Orgasms heal.
Orgasms heal.
Yes.
Wow, I love that.
Yes, if you can have them. Yes, because everybody doesn't have orgasms, but if you can, yes. But thank you. This is my therapy chair.
Okay. So that's where healing happens. The healing and support happens. I love it. So I got so many questions. And I had people that were like, I'm not going to be able to join, but I got questions too. And I was like, listen, we only got a little bit of time. So you go follow Sex Dr. Heather and we'll get into that too. But the first thing that we like to do when people join us, our Coco Queens and our Coco Kings, is to talk about our superpowers. So as you see in my name, I'm Alexia Coco Mom Evolved. Okay. That's kind of how I refer Coco Queen Evolved. And so I always say my superpower is helping people evolve into their best selves, helping them transition in life, advocacy, and things like that. Yeah. So that's the question that I have for you to kick us off. What's your Coco Queen superpower? What would you say?
I love that. I love your superpower. Mine is a little it's close to yours because I feel like my superpower is positivity. Ooh. You know, I know people all my life ask my friends, like people who don't know me but are around me, ask people who know me, is she really like this all the times? Right. It's hilarious because then my friends are like, yes, all the times.
like legit. This is
like her. This is me. I wake up, I'm happy. I'm just like, you know what it is? It's just me living in the day. You know, I am living in this day today because I am so blessed to be alive and on earth today. So I try to be positive. I talk to people I don't know, you know, people, you know, sometimes when I go out, I'm smiling, I'm saying hi to everybody. People are like, what, are you okay? And, you know, I'm okay. I just try to spread some of that. So I think my superpower is spreading the positivity too, like to people, just randomly. You never know whose day you're going to make by saying hello, just that simple hello or smile. And really asking someone and meaning it, how are you today? And actually listening to the response and having a response, I think is the superpower I have.
Can I just say on so many levels, do I love that? And let me just say to those of you who are watching, I see quite a few people watching us live. And for those of you who are watching the playback, she is telling the truth. Every time I have encountered Dr. Heather, she's exactly like 100% authentic. She's not putting on, and I love it because literally that's how I am. Like I don't really run into like bad days, so to speak, because I feel the same way. And even when we were doing the one episode of Patty and the Millennials, because that's the other thing, Sex Dr. Heather is also my fellow podcast crew member on the Patty and the Millennials podcast. So make sure you go and check that out. But when Patty asked the question about how do you find joy? Like, how do you maintain joy in life? That was mine. I was like, optimism, being positive. Like, that's it. So how has that benefited you, having that sort of attitude?
Oh my, how has it not? Should be the question, actually. It has really benefited my overall being because it's in my soul. You know, it permeates out into the world, which is something that I find is more rewarding. You know, because of that permeation into the world, it helps other people too to change their mindset. It helps my clients to see, hey, you know, let's do this reframe. So that's something I teach in therapy. You know, okay, you can be a pessimist or whatever you want to call it, negative or whatever, but you got to give yourself some grace to look at the other side too. If you want to look at the pessimistic side, be my guest, but bring it all along to the other optimistic side too. Let's look at both roads.
Well, and how about that? Looking at both sides is something that we honestly should be encouraged to do anyway, right? Considering both, it's like anything else, comparison. We compare prices.
Yep.
We compare cars, as far as what sorts of luxury items come with it and specs. We compare it in houses. So why wouldn't we do that as it relates to something that impacts our emotion?
Yes.
Emotion.
Yep.
I love that. So first off, I love your superpower. Hey to everybody that's tuning in. It is Coco Mom Evolved, Alexia, and I am here with Sex Dr. Heather.
Hey, we gonna talk about sex, baby.
Boy, talk about, and this Coco class is in session. So my first question for you, and I feel like, well, I just got to throw it out there. So when we were when we got a chance to talk, and you agreed to come on, I had some burning questions of my own. And so,
Okay.
what do you do when you normally have burning questions? Hey, to our CBT Coco mom. Oh, I know she got some questions. Um, I can't, oh yeah, I know she got some questions. But one of the things that I talked about with like my peers and I, friends of mine and I, is we talk about as we've gotten older. So most of us are in the millennial generation, but we kind of like on the tail end of that thing.
Yeah.
We're getting closer to 40. And one of the things that I saw as I was reading is that it's very common for you to see shifts emotionally in like your sex drive and things like that because of all kinds of reasons and factors. And
Mhm.
so I guess my first question was to you was, is that common, like from a statistic perspective, or how we got the numbers, should we start to see changes? Like, do women start to see changes as they get older?
Yes. Uh-huh. Women and men, both. But research shows that women and men see changes, but differently. Meaning like women's changes don't go like plummeting down, right?
Uh,
But men's do, right?
oh.
We kind of go up a little bit while men go down, right? So think about that. Like if we're going two opposite directions, how hard do you have to work to keep things on the same even plane? I mean, but think about it. Has your desires been on the same plane ever? Maybe when you first met,
Mm,
or if you're not partnered, maybe when you were really feeling somebody,
mhm,
or you were having deep love, or something that was a circumstance that exacerbated that desire to be where it is, right? But
mhm.
as you age, so we're talking about into your no, so you're still in that going up stage.
Okay. So then, yes, let's talk about that then.
Yeah. You're
So,
not, yeah. Mhm.
okay. So I know that there's anomalies, but what is that? How does that peak go? Or how does that incline and then peak and then something start to go from an age perspective?
Well, there is varying research out there. So I'm going to say this generally, from what I know, you will experience an uptick depending on your life and your lifestyle too. Now, people, I'm not talking about if you got to be a healthy person. And when I say healthy, I
Mm,
don't mean skinny because that doesn't equal healthy. Okay. And I mean, you have to be healthy, mind, body, and soul.
mm.
Right. So you need to,
Holistically.
yes. Right. So you might experience a lot of women and men could experience uptick in, of course, 20s, right?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
in 30s, both do.
Okay.
But as you get to the 45, men kind of go down a little bit, women go up, right? But if you're healthy,
Uh-huh.
it might cause men to stay, to keep their desire. If they're healthy, if they're eating okay, if they're not consuming. So, sugar is our enemy, right?
Oh, yes, it is.
Sugar is enemy for women. Like men can have sugar, women cannot, right? As we age, I mean.
Right.
So it really messes with us. It doesn't do good with our estrogen, right? So then we start to gain weight in our bellies, right? And then that causes our mindset to change because we're like, oh my gosh, I can't see my vulva. You know what I mean? Like my belly. And then we don't know how to do the things that we need to do to get rid of it because sugar is causing it, really, which is causing us to have low self-image, which taints our body image. All of that is very related, right? If you have a big belly doesn't mean you have a low self-esteem or low body image. What happens is the sugar is causing you to feel like slow.
Right.
Basically, it's like you're in a fog. I don't know if anybody experienced like a sugar high and then a sugar low, and then you feel like you're in a fog. But let me tell you, when I had a belly, I was feeling like a little bit sluggish. And then in bed, I would feel like I don't want to do the things that I used to do because I don't have the energy in this act because I'm tired, but when I started to eliminate the sugar out of my diet, and research shows this, when you start to eliminate sugar out of your diet, your energy levels actually go up. So you do experience a low, which is it's like you get into this funk of when you eliminate sugar altogether, you don't want to have sex, you don't want to do nothing because all you want to do is sleep. So it's your body getting rid of it, basically.
Okay, like purging.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like a detox, right?
Detox. Yes. Yes.
So when you detox off of sugar, that second week into the third week, you're like, I'm ready to run a marathon. Where did all this energy come from? You got to think about how the body works, right? And all this comes back around to your intimacy and your sex. This is why I'm talking about it, and your sex drive and your desire. Trust me, sugar impacts your desire. The way you eat impacts your desire. The way that you move, maybe movement, maybe if you're able, right? Do some movement if you're able. If you are chair bound, do some chair movements. They have awesome things out nowadays. Chair yoga, chair exercise, things like that. Do 7-minute a day workout. Research shows that 7 minutes a day being active is like amazing for your body, right? So if you can think about movement and what you're eating, like what you're consuming, your desire will be fine. I get a lot of clients with low desire, and that's what's going on. They're not eating good. They're not having movement every day, because people are sad. It's a pandemic, it's a lot going on.
Well, you brought up a couple of good things, and it made me think about my own journey, right? So, I've been transparent. Moose and I individually dropped 50 pounds this year since.
Congratulations. How do you feel?
Like you spoke it. Amazing. And it was nutrition. Because both of us are active in the sense that we're used to going to the gym. Like we know how to go to the gym and things like that. What we did not understand about ourselves is how sugar, other fats, and just foods in general impacted us. And you are so right. I can recall like as the first 20 pounds melted off. And that's actually what made me decide to become a health coach, because I was like, wow, like this is working for me. And there's so many things I didn't know about myself.
Yes.
And I was going through these different struggles mentally. I had anxiety, and a lot of it I thought was only related to my mom passing, about 3 years ago.
Yes.
Then I started realizing that the ups and downs, yes, there was absolutely grief a part of it. And there was a lot going on hormonally because of these choices I was making with what I was putting in my body.
Yes.
So what was coming? The funny part about it is, and this doesn't always, what was coming out was indicative of what I was putting in.
Yes.
So it's true. You get what you reap what you sow.
Yes.
That's legit. So as you were talking, I did notice that, like I was, again, like you said, because people tend to twist words. Nobody's saying that you don't have positive body image or it's not about self-love. I loved myself.
Yes. I agree. It's not about that. Yes.
However, I can see how much more I love myself by getting the weight off of me. Like now I'm really loving myself, which allows me
more
to love my husband and love our relationship and dynamic even more. So those pieces you lifted up hit the nail right on the head.
And it's, you know what, Lexi, it's like small little things that I try to teach my clients, like, bananas, for instance, like we should never eat bananas, but I always see women eating bananas, and I just want to snatch that banana out their hand, like, get you some strawberries, because that little bit of berry. So there are only 3 things that we should eat: apple,
okay, come on,
pear, and berries. Okay. Every berry, apple, and pear. That is it. You don't need to be eating no cantaloupes, melons. You know what that does? Sugar. And guess where it goes? Your vulva. You wonder why you got yeast infections, bacteria infections. Stop eating them bananas and them cantaloupes and the melon, all the melons.
What about the mango?
And the mango,
Okay.
mango sugar. So
Yes.
what it is eat. You want to women because of the estrogen we have and our body and our gut health. What we want to do is eat high fiber, low sugar fruits. And those are only the berries, pears, and apples. People
Wow.
say, well, can I eat this? Can I eat? No, none of that. Okay.
Wow. You know what? And see, Dr. Heather, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I learned. I was the queen. Like, I used to make mango banana smoothies every day. And I was like, oh, I'm eating fruit. And da-da-da. Then after I, got on my journey, I was like, oh my gosh, these have so much sugar in it.
So much.
So
it's natural. That's why it fools people, but it's still a whole lot. But men can have a berry. They can have a banana mango smoothie in the morning. Their testosterone, it's just different. We are different as far as our hormones are concerned. And as we age, they could do the same workout we're doing and eat what we're eating and lose 30 more pounds than we did.
It's insane. It's insane. But I think knowledge is power, like you said. So if we want to be empowered as women,
Yes.
for those out there who also fall into that motherhood bucket, however you're mothering, whether you're mothering as a God mom, a church mom, community mom, biological mom, adopted, whatever, however you're serving your community in that capacity, we know that anxiety, stress, it impacts us. So, Dr. Heather, we've been through a lot over this last year, especially as Black women, Black and brown women, and the social unrest, the pandemic hitting. How do those factors also impact us from a sexual perspective, like our drives?
Gosh, everything does. Women. So, we are more intimacy creatures. Like we adore intimacy, and I'm not speaking for every person who identifies as a woman on the planet. Okay. I am just speaking from, I know a lot of the research and what it shows, but it's not us. Let me just be clear. A lot of the research ain't us. Okay. Let me just
in so many elements, in so many categories, and this is just one more.
Okay, let me clear that up. But we have our intimacy, our desire has been impacted long before the pandemic. Let me just speak on that. It's just that the pandemic has provided a platform for people like you and I to have more of a voice to talk about this stuff and to just address desire and the lack of. So it's been before the pandemic. It's just that we have struggles in all other areas, like being single parents, or not having the help that we would like to have in the house, and if we have a partner, not really understanding what partnership is, because we didn't have like a clear definition of love and partnership growing up. I could speak for myself in my neighborhood where I grew up. It was like I could think of one of my girlfriends who had a mom and a dad. So, it's a lot of things that have affected us for years and our desire, and women in general have always been, the stigma is we are here to reproduce and that's it. Like having pleasure. What is that? What you talking about pleasure, girl? You better have some kids. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. Maybe I just want to orgasm.
Right. And that's why when women don't, it's like our womanhood is tied up to reproduction, or certain parts of the anatomy. And with it being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm wearing my Courage shirt that I even got from Miss Kim, our other podcast co-host, like 3 years ago.
Oh man, I gotta get me one of them. That's nice. Let me see.
Yes, see, it says Courage.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's nice.
And we know that there are so many factors. So you hit on, so many different pieces as it relates to how we are. We are as creatures by design, like just by how God designed us. We are more intimate. We are more nurturing in a lot of capacities. And so whenever we are disrupted, like in our core and this this space here,
Yes.
yeah, it rocks us. And I felt that before too. So
Good.
so how do we so speak to the woman, the entrepreneur, the
Mhm.
business owner, the corporate professional, the ones who just feel heavy. Like, how do we
Mm,
prioritize intimacy
mm.
and your shirt that says hashtag orgasm save lives? Like, how,
Heels.
heals, excuse me, heals.
That's okay.
Tell us how do we heal in that capacity?
Ooh, girl, this we gonna be on this thing
What you say?
forever. Cause I got I must be coming back because I got a lot. Ooh, I got a lot to say.
You are,
Woo,
you
listen,
are definitely coming back.
I mean, that's a whole conversation, you know. So the first thing I want to say is give yourself grace. You know, we don't do that. We give everybody else grace except ourselves. So if you aren't feeling like you want to have sex with your partner or feeling desire and being hard on yourself because of it, I'm here to tell you, stop it. Don't do that.
Mhm.
You know why? Because you deserve grace. You probably are doing 125 things to not contribute to having a high desire. You know, sometimes we're in the monotony of everyday life. You know, the entrepreneur, you know, the person struggling with balancing the work and home life. You know, everybody
Mhm.
falls into the monotony of life. Give yourself grace. And you have to understand that when you're partnered, it is both of your responsibilities around intimacy. It's not just your responsibility, it's your partner's responsibility too. You know, I wrote some stuff I want to read, okay?
Yes, please.
So about, you know, intimacy and you know how it is such a struggle for people. And I just kind of want to clarify some things around intimacy, right? Because everybody doesn't know what intimacy is. So when I talk about intimacy, sometimes on you know, my YouTube or wherever I am, people automatically their brains go to intercourse,
Yeah.
right? That's not what I'm talking about. It's a piece of intimacy, or it might not be for some people,
Hmm.
right? So, you know, intimacy has been described as a sense of feeling close, connected, or bonded, having a sense of welfare for the other, wanting happiness for the other, being able to count on the other in times of need, regarding the other highly, experiencing mutual understanding, sharing oneself and others' possessions, talking intimately, giving emotional support, valuing the other, expressing empathy for the other, communicating honestly, and finding the other person trustworthy and or predictable.
Mm.
All these feelings of intimacy give warmth in a loving relationship. Intimacy is a process that can never be fully completed as it requires constant attention and work.
Woo.
There are four categories of intimacy. Y'all ready? Physical and nonverbal intimacy, sexual intimacy, operational closeness, and emotional intimacy. I'm explaining intimacy to everyone because it's an area of lack for the general people who are partnered. Not just for women or people who give birth. It really impacts people's overall desire,
Mm.
right? So if you aren't feeling like you have a high desire or what's happened to my desire, it's probably because of the intimacy, lack of, I should say, that's going on. So this warrants a conversation. And if anybody ever heard our, you know, us on a podcast, you know, I always talk about communication.
Yep.
So this goes for women who just gave birth, you know, and women who haven't. You know, it's you have to work hard regardless of what is happening, because intimacy is something that lacks for a lot of people because people don't understand what intimacy is.
Mm.
Intimate closeness. So what I just read to you was a lot to unpack. You know, so who's sitting around unpacking this stuff with their partner,
Mm.
right? But
So
you have to,
yeah.
because maybe your partner doesn't understand what intimacy is for you. and what it is for them. So they're doing their intimacy on you, but should be doing your intimacy on you.
Listen, oh my gosh. And that goes back to communication. Y'all, there is no possible way we will be able to cover each and every element of what it means to be healthy. And this was just a snippet to get you exposed to the expert. And she is busy on top of busy on top of busy. But one of the things that she has made time for is to ensure that we know our resources and that we know that how important it is to give ourselves space and grace. Mm-hmm. So as we start to wrap up this conversation for today, Sex Dr. Heather, what is one piece of advice that you have for the partners out there, for the people who are struggling? I mean, shout out to y'all who got it together. Like, that's awesome. Keep it up, you know, and be free to share, you know, those things. But one of the things that Musa and I learned when we went to premarital counseling is our counselor at the time, couple, the Newberry, said, make sure you keep people around you who have some fruit in their relationship. Mm-hmm. Not because they've been together for a really, really long time. And so, but no fruit. And so what's some advice or, you know, something you would say to those out there who do feel like they're having an out-of-body experience, like they just can't connect with this intimacy piece, or they're not sure why sex for them is not what it should be, what they know they feel like it should be?
I would say, you know, the one suggestion I have is find you a therapist, right? Listen, yes, stigma is crazy regarding therapy, especially in the African-American community or people of color community. I know this. However, we're moving in a good direction, y'all, right? So you can find you a therapist. We got therapyforblackgirls.com, which is amazing, right? We got Psychology Today. You can go in there and find you a therapist. And let me just say this. You don't have to see the first therapist that calls you back, right? Shop around. Just like you want a gynecologist that's good. You're not just going, I'm gonna just keep them even though they say rude things. No, okay? You shop around for a therapist. And what I mean shop around, therapists should offer a free consultation. You know, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. But it should be an initial free consultation to see if you're a good fit, right? So I would say find you a therapist and work out, deconstruct some of those things that are going on in your life so that you can begin to reconstruct a new future of desire for yourself.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Heather. The one thing I did want to ask you too, as you talked about finding a therapist, how has your business been impacted by the pandemic and the quarantine? Like, how are you and your clients responding with all of this, navigating it?
Oh my gosh, it actually hasn't been impacted. Thank the Lord, you know, because this is my business. This is my something that God has put me on earth to do. Like, this is my gift, right? And I say that because I love it. It is it comes so naturally to me, and I help so many people, right? So my business hasn't been impacted, but what I did learn from my clients is that they like virtual better. You know, I had an office in East Falls. And they liked coming. So I still got all my same clients I had before the pandemic started because they just went virtual, you know, and they love it because they can sit in their car, especially my moms. My moms just, listen, y'all sit here, I'm going in this room and shut the door and I'm going to have my therapy session, or in the car while the partner's watching the kids, or they're on vacation and they still listen. I've never had so many clients on vacation wanting to have therapy.
Listen, they like therapy. Listen, I was just typing it. Therapy is self-care. Okay,
it is
part of our self-care practices, self-maintenance practices. That is so necessary. Well, I am so grateful for you, so thankful for you coming on. For everybody who is watching this live or the playback, make sure you go follow Sex Dr. Heather. Okay, she can be found on IG at Sex Dr. Heather. That's where you can also link to her YouTube. That's where you can also see, again, a lot of the comments and the feedback that she gives on the Patty and the Millennials podcast too, that we both are on. And that is where you can see the importance of this aspect of building community. We told y'all that we are connecting you with resources and that we are supporting this community bump and beyond. And this is the beyond. As Taraji said in her session that she set up last year, we're going to heal, damn it. And that's one of the things that we going to do. Mind, body, soul, right? This is all connected. And for us, especially as women, this is a major, major part of it. So excluding it or acting like it just simply doesn't exist is no longer acceptable behavior for us. We got to make sure that we have these conversations, that we lift them up, so that it's not this like taboo topic that doesn't happen, but yet it's impacting us at such record numbers, like everything else. So for us, thank you so much for tuning in to this Coco Connect. We are cultivating community. So please make sure you go and follow us everywhere at cocolife.black. That's even our website, y'all, www.cocolife.black. YouTube, we are Coco Life DOT Black. Please make sure you share this. Go follow Sex Dr. Heather on IG. We love y'all. Peace and love. Be healed. Be blessed. See ya.